Well, thanks so much, Ben, for joining me for Mighty Mondays. We have here Ben Dooley, and you are a triathlete. So, how did you get into triathlons?
Yes, I'm a fairly new triathlete, so I don't claim to be great at it yet or anything, but I love the sport. I'm very passionate about it, and I like being an advocate for the sport because it's definitely more of like a niche kind of unique sport, and that not a ton of people do it. But I got into triathlon really actually because of my wife. She convinced me to run a half marathon. Um, Maybe almost 2 years ago now. And I swore I'd never run like that again. I swore I'd never run that far again. And then during the training, it kind of awakened something in me that I just really enjoyed. And so, anyways, as I started doing distance running, I looked into cross training to prevent injuries. And what I found was that triathlon is it's got built-in cross training for you. So if you train for a try, then you end up doing three different disciplines instead of just running. I like to have some variety in life, and so it just worked out really well to do the endurance with a little spice of variety in it. So triathlon became my new love, and now it's anything from 8 to 10 hours a week I spend training for races.
All right, that's awesome. I've heard that story repeated before. Guys say I got into it from because my wife challenged me to do it. They
Yeah,
were doing
and
one, and I couldn't
yeah,
let
oh
them
yeah.
do it without me doing it.
Hannah almost killed me on our first half marathon. I almost was not gonna make it, but I think my ego wouldn't let me quit, so I held on.
That's awesome. Way to be mighty. Um, so is she doing triathlons now?
She's not. I've tried to convince her because she's actually a very good swimmer, and I think the bike would come easy to her, but she just likes to run. So that's her thing, and I'm thrilled for that to be her passion right now.
Yeah. You mentioned in one of your Instagram posts that swimming doesn't come easily for you. What motivates you to keep doing it?
Oh yeah, it does not come easy to me. I move through the water like a sheet of plywood. It's not pretty. So yeah, what motivates me is that I'm competitive, and I don't like to quit. I don't like to give up. And when I feel like I'm not good at something, I'm very tempted to give up. And so I think a lot of people maybe choose to give up when they feel that way, but I kind of lean into it and say, nah, we're not giving up. Let's figure out a way to overcome this. Um, and I'd like to say that that's turned out great for me, but I'm still not a great swimmer. But I have learned a lot, and I've gotten a lot better, which is great. So I've made some progress on it. But really, it's having something that I need to improve in that I'm not good at, and being able to work on that. And then two, it's the fear of drowning in a race that also motivates me to swim. So between those two, I'm out there getting my laps in.
Nice. That's awesome. I love how you use the fear of death to motivate you.
I know, yeah, nothing like it really, nothing like that motivator.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's a good one. For the so you're just getting a triathlons yourself. For other people who are thinking about triathlons but haven't yet taken that leap, what are some tips and advice that you'd give the wannabe triathlete?
Yeah, I think start small. Everyone hears triathlon and they think, oh, Ironman, and I think that is super intimidating for the average person to think about swimming a couple miles, biking 100+ miles, running a full marathon. But that's not really what a lot of competitive triathlon is. There's a lot of shorter races where you swim like 400 yards, and then you bike 15 miles and you run a 5K. And I think the average person who's considering triathlon or getting into it, those are less daunting numbers. You can figure out how to swim 400 yards probably if you went out there and just goofed off a little bit and got in the pool a couple times a week. And you can figure out how to ride a bike 10 miles. So I think starting small, and that's what I did. I ran my first sprint triathlon last summer. And after I ran that, I thought, you know what, I could do a longer one. It built confidence in me because I didn't know that I could survive a swim in open water until I went out there and I did it. And so it gave me a foundation to build on and confidence to build on. And now I'm doing a half Ironman in at the end of this month, and that'll be quite a long swim and a good decently long bike as well. So yeah, so I think starting small and then building your confidence with as you build your endurance, and you'd be surprised at what you're able to accomplish after that.
Well, congratulations on the half Ironman. That's really exciting. I'll be following you on Instagram to see how it goes.
So survival is the goal. So as long as I make it out alive, I'm good. But yeah, thank you. I'm really excited about it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, our tagline at Mighty Cricket is Eat Clean, Live Mighty, because we believe that nutrition and having great nutrition is one of the foundations of starting to go out and do these mighty things like triathlon. So my last question for you is, if you think about living mighty, what does that mean to you?
That's a good question. For me, when I think about living mighty, I think about doing the small things well, doing the small things excellently. I think there is a tendency to glamorize the big things, the big accomplishments, and the big training blocks that you do, or the big whatever it is that's big, the big choice you made, or the big accomplishment. But when I think about being mighty, I think about the only way that you get to those big things is if you're doing the small things daily that get you there. So if you're practicing integrity, if you're practicing discipline, if you're practicing consistency, if you're staying on the path towards whatever it is that you want to accomplish, I think that's what being mighty is. Being mighty is day in and day out, choosing to do the right thing and choosing to do the consistent thing. And over time, it turns into something really mighty, even though it's a lot of small stuff.
Well, that's awesome, because we always use the hashtag small but mighty.
That's how I feel. It really is. I try to live my life by that. It's true. Even before triathlon, but triathlon has really helped me see it very clearly in a practical sense.
Well, thanks for so much for spending the time to share how you got into this. And anyone who's listening can follow you, your Instagram handle. You can go ahead and say that.
Yeah, it's Ben_triathlon_trains. And it's just a montage of me training and what I run into and what I figure out and my progress. And yeah, we have a good time on there.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks a lot for your time.
Okay. Thanks, Sarah.